That really is what it's all about. And here we are, guys. First map of the group stages here for the main event for China. In the top right, from Kaiser Gaming, this is Time.
And in the bottom left, this man is currently teamless, but hopefully someone out there can change that. This is Dragon.
All right. Rax gas here for Dragon and Time. So neither player going gas first, but they are double gassing. Oh. Now, this is China in a nutshell. We do have Australians in the broadcast, and I have a feeling that if this isn't Dragon just having a little bit of lag himself, it may be our observer. We do that from time to time. That's what Zeph and I are not in the lobby. Having as few Australians in the lobby as possible is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. No huge complaints about
cat on his keyboard or something.
Yeah, itchy nose.
Mm-hmm.
I get the dog fluff on the nostril every now and then. But
referee, hello.
I play these. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think
might have to do a second countdown here.
I mean, if the referee can type to all, should have the ability to unpause.
Yeah.
There it is. Apparently, poor old Insano, he's got the job again. Rip. It's probably a permissions thing. Oh well. It's Time in the top right from Kaiser Gaming, going for the double gas here. Both players doing mirror builds to start off with. Barracks gas and then second gas, around 17, 18 supply. Mm-hmm. Pretty normal stuff.
That's exactly right. And I should have mentioned earlier, by the way, in case anyone is a fan of the Korean player Dragon, these are separate people. It is not that Dragon, just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, that Dragon, I believe, is a streamer and a memer. This Dragon is a guy that can make it to group stage of a tournament.
He's a serious e-gamer, Maynard.
He is a super serious e-gamer, Zeph. One time I saw someone make a joke to Dragon, didn't even flinch. He was too busy. He was too busy practicing his build orders, getting ready to be a pro gamer.
As it should be. I'm very keen to follow Dragon's progress through this tournament as well. He's also never beaten Cyan, Firefly, Coffee in like series, at least from like larger tournaments that I looked at. But he does take maps, so he definitely sounds like the kind of player that's on the up and up. And certainly making it into the groups here is a really good sign, and I hope that we see him in subsequent seasons as well, because that's one thing I really love about watching regions like China and Taiwan, Hong Kong, is that we see some players that don't get a lot of airtime. They're still sort of finding their feet in the game, and we get to watch them progress over a year or two, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely right. It is really cool, and I love seeing fresh faces as well, especially if they start to do well. You know, it's anytime I see a person whose ID I haven't seen or recognized against someone that I do know, like for instance Dragon against Time, for instance. If Dragon won a map here, I'll be like, oh, all right, I'm gonna be paying attention to Dragon from now on, and I'll be looking for his name in that bracket next season as well. Guarantee that.
That is exactly right, and we're looking very mirrored here so far, Maynard.
Yeah, this is very, very normal, very safe, but neither player really going for anything wild at all. So it is going to be what looks to be about a 3-gas Raven build. I mean, the 3-gas is going down for Time. The 3rd gas has, to be fair, not been taken from Dragon just yet, but it does look like it. So Time's going across the map here with his... Yeah, there's that 3rd gas just a little bit later. Similar amount of units, actually 1 Hellion less for Time. The other one's just showing up now.
Oh.
He actually time overextends a little bit here. I mean, he does kill the 3 Reapers, which is definitely better than, you know, killing just 2. But with the launch pad of that acceleration zone, he picks off that Hellion at the back there. And yeah, this was a little bit of a trade for both players, and I'd say that wasn't especially bad for anyone in particular. But I'd maybe give the edge to Dragon in that little scuffle, but it's such a small edge, doesn't really matter.
This is a really fun thing about TT. It's just so scrappy. Early on, those little Reaper and Hellion skirmishes. Sometimes it looks like you've got the better engagement and you've lost an extra unit or two. So, good fun.
Yeah. You are weak in the beginning of TVT until you have your Tech Lab factory unit out, whether it be a tank or a Cyclone. Oh, Dragon's actually getting really assertive here, going across the map with the Cyclone and 4 Marines. This is one of those drops that can be easily thwarted, but it can also, like, if this Cyclone locks onto the medevac, this could be really good for time, but if the drop just shows up in the main and everything's in the natural just chilling, then you can actually get a fair bit done here. The lock-on on the Cyclone could potentially pick off things like Raven, that kind of thing, if you're really lucky. But obviously he's looking for SCVs.
Yeah, he certainly is. The Cyclone already in position for time, but this is way too much firepower. That Cyclone goes down. He's going to march on into this SCV line, see how much he can get done. Time has a bunch of Marines, and Dragon not getting too fresh. Very nicely respects that force and gets on out of there.
Yeah, Dragon got in a Cyclone, 2 SCVs, and didn't lose anything except for hit points on that medevac. So definitely a great play from Dragon, who is taking a comfortable supplied lead. He's up at 11 at the moment. A good chunk of that is in workers, but also his army is bigger. He has the benefit of the medevac. Time is going to have the benefit, I think, of having a bit more Raven energy and a little bit of a jump start on biotech, you know, the stim and whatnot, and tank production. So you got to give it a little, get a little.
Yeah. I do like that Dragon's taken the initiative in the early stages here to put on a bit of aggression as well. He's not playing scared by any means. Now, Time is marching across the map with those couple of tanks ready to see if he can do some damage. Dragon actually already moving out here thinking about a third base. Ooh, are they actually going to pass each other by?
Yeah, I mean, Time's got the Raven advantage, so these Marines being rallied through the middle of the map are going to get picked off by Dragon's army, and this is very strange. Like, Dragon's caught in the middle of the map, and it's just as far for him to go attack Time as it is for him to go home at the moment. So he's really kind of damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. And Time's just going to try and break this ramp here. He knows that Dragon's going across the map too with nothing at home to hold except for 1 tank. Oh, Time's got his tank in a beautiful spot here. Very hard for Dragon to crack that. Needs to bring in the Raven. This is where the Vikings come in. They're a little slow on the draw, but they are going to get that Raven.
Very important. Looks like Time might be taking some heavy losses here in the natural base as well. The disable on the new siege tank that just sieged up in the main there. Time continuing to pressure on the other side of the map, but he doesn't have a lot here either.
I think Dragon's looking real good here, Zeph. Time's in a lot of trouble. He is going to kill the natural. That did not get lifted from Dragon. A little bit of a mistake there, but Dragon is just barreling into the main. He's on top of the production. He could potentially get Stim out of the picture here as well, which isn't going to matter too much because Time really has like 3 Marines. Doesn't really benefit a ton from Stim. There's the SCV pool. He's going to close the distance on these tanks and surround him.
This is hugely concerning for Time. GG, Maynard.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Dragon takes game number 1.
Dragon.
Hello?
A very wild game, went base tradey, and he just had the right tools for the trade and managed to actually, hey, he had just enough energy on the Raven for 2 interference matrices. When that Raven locked down that second tank in the main, that Raven was on like 1 energy point because of how like perfect the amount of energy he needed to get the job done there was. So, I mean, well played by Dragon for sure. A little lucky, but very, very well played and should not be taken away from him. Like, Time is... He's on match point from losing this series. Can't believe I'm saying it, but this is where Dragon's at right now. Starting the series with a bang. I love it.
Dragon out here to make us all look very, very silly on our predictions. But this is super cool. He did get the better exchange early on there. Came in, did a little bit more damage, got out, and then he already had the idea to attack again after this. And I think the key thing is his decision making when he realized, uh-oh, Time's already at my house. I just missed him on my way out. So do I go back or do I keep going? And he realized continuing forward was going to be the move. And he just had so much more firepower than Time available.
Yeah, the king of every ground fight in TVT is the siege tank, whether you're going bio or mech. And Dragon managed to take the siege tanks out of the equation when base trading against Time. With the base trade, the tank is so important, and Time knows this. He's like, oh, I gotta have my tank as far back behind my natural mineral line as possible. And the Vikings were there to zone back that Raven. But you could see that the Vikings of Time, this is a bit of a mistake from Time, the Vikings didn't actually really shepherd back that Raven away from his tank in the natural, which, you know, and then subsequently he lost those Vikings to the Cyclones and to the Marines and all this sort of stuff, breaking the natural, which is a little bit too late at that point. And again, like Dragon plus, the third thing in the row is that he had the Raven with enough energy to lock down a second tank, which was in the main. And yeah, it's a little bit of luck, but also a little bit of a mistake from Time there. And Dragon found himself with a W.
Yeah, That's actually a crazy development here, man. It's a spicy first game to have time down 0-1 against the guy who was just in the top 8 for the very first time in EVT. That's a cool story. I'm very keen to see how game number 2 goes, because a mistake is all it takes, especially in TVT. Suddenly you're doom dropped.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly you're the second person to siege tanks. That's all you need to lose a big fight.
Yeah, we talked about it in Lemily last night, that when you're in a TVT, you could be up 30 army supply, but if you walk into siege tanks that are siege before your siege tanks, you are not going to win that fight, Sarah, unless you have like much better upgrades and a better position. But we're going to take a short break. When we return, though, Dragon versus Time Game 2. We'll see you then. G'day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back to the DreamHack Masters main event here for China. And we are starting things off a little spicy here in Group A, with Dragon currently being a map up on Time, the god of the region. And that would just be incredible to have. And we were staring down the barrel of it, with Dragon winning the second game, or a second game in the series. It means that Time will be in the losers match of Group A. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
Dragon's not Cyan. Dragon's not Jaishi. Dragon's not Shigwa or Silky.
Very
How's he
weird.
doing this?
Very weird. I gotta confess, I was not prepared for any reality where Time isn't out first in the group with like a 4-0 map score, to be quite honest. So yeah, this is keeping it fresh. Pretty big win for Dragon. He must be feeling pretty good as well. That takes a bit of pressure off too, because you go down on the first map against someone who you're not favored against. It's that much harder to then take 2 in a row. This way he has a bit of a safety net. So let's see how he goes on map number 2 here.
Yeah. We are heading to Oxide here in the bottom left. Currently down in the series from Kaiser Gaming, the leader of the region, the champ. This is Time.
And the TVT artist in the top right in the red, this is Dragon.
Imagine if you joined Dragon Phoenix Gaming.
I know, right? It's a match made in heaven, honestly.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming Dragon.
That's Dragon squared.
It is. Multiple dragons. And going for the 2 racks here. So this is the hardest counter to someone that likes to proxy Reaper or something like that. Or is trying to like mass Reaper you.
Sorry.
Oh, excuse me. I can't hear you over the 3rd barracks going down.
I took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Definitely a little bit unusual. But this is actually not uncommon for Chinese Terrans. I mean, the Chinese region in general has a lot of wacky play, a lot of very aggressive play as well. But this actually puts me in mind of, I think it was XY last season. Went like 4 racks. So, yeah, really cool. Let's see how he goes.
Well, the what might be a tiny little bit of a tell here for Time, and this is very small, so maybe not anything, is that this, well, that Insano is actually giving it he's circling it right now, tantalizingly with his mouse pointing, just lovingly caressing it. But there is a second depot a lot earlier than the second depot would normally be done here for the Terran. And that is a bit of a tell. That means that Dragon's trying to hide something, and Time's actually looking for it, so yes, he did notice.
Yeah. Definitely not going to be fooled by that. The question is, where is it? When's it hitting? What is it, actually? This is coming at me. So it looks like Dragon's actually going to wait a little bit. We'll see if he goes with the 5.
Yeah, I mean, going for 5 or 6 Reapers here and then being surprised with all of them is... it's potentially just game winning, straight up.
Yeah.
Like, if this build works for Dragon, this might be a really fast 2-0. Oh, I love it. The boys are coming for a walk.
Oh, wow. I actually don't know what happens in this scenario. Does Time possibly have enough to hold this off? He's getting a reactor. He doesn't even have units building. He has 1 mine coming. Oh, this is so stressful.
Yeah. I mean, the winter mine does help, but yeah, he needs to buy a lot of his namesake here. He needs to slow down Dragon a lot here at the natural. I mean,
oh my god, you need to borrow that yesterday.
Oh my god, and Dragon, oh, he sees it. Oh, the split on the Reaper, really well nice there from Dragon, so only loses the 1 Reaper, and the Wintermine's been taken out of the field, so this is all Time just trying to hold the main base. He does have a Tech Lab factory, he's got a Tech Lab unit on the way, he's got to pull workers, trying to hold onto the depot, wants to keep the SCVs out of the main.
This absolute madman. SCVs repairing. They're fighting, they're buffering for the few units that Time has here. He's still holding on to that supply depot, starting to lose a fair few workers, but so is Dragon.
Yeah, the SCVs are taken out of the mix, and now Time's actually got a medevac to assist, and the medevac's actually quite helpful here. Reapers do heal, but they don't heal as fast as if you have a medevac, and now with the Marines, he does not need the Reapers anymore. Marines are good punch for punch against those Reapers. They are cheaper, they do not cost gas as well. And Time actually looks like he's holding here, and his natural's nearly finished. So this ended up being an incredibly good hold, and now Dragon is actually really far behind.
Holy smokes. Heart rate 10,000.
Yeah.
That was some really good crisis management from Time. He held on beautifully, bought enough time for those extra few units for that medevac to be able to hold that off. And honestly, Dragon probably was feeling pretty good for a moment there, like, yes, I've got him. He's got barely anything, but so far, so good for Time with 2 CCs. A few worker losses is no big deal because he knows his opponent can't possibly be on 2 CCs as well.
The Reaper's coming in for the main base. A few of them going to go down to that tank there to get some nice volley on those stacked up units. They roll around looking for SCV kills. Time respecting this, pulling every single worker off the mineral line. Loses 2 here. I mean, the Reapers are just trying to be useful at this point as Dragon's invested a lot into these Reapers. They need to basically win in the game. He's still just massing them at the moment. And as Time gets further and further up the tech tree to more and more tanks, to more and more Marines, these Reapers cease to be effective. And I mean, that was like 7 Reapers for 2 SCVs, Seth. I'm not sure that's...
Ouch.
You're gonna have a hard time finding a Terran that'll be happy with that trade. Oh, yuck. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I would have liked to see him try and keep those alive a little bit longer and continue to dance around with them. Because they're everything he has. This is all his army, all his utility, all his ability to keep Time at home. And now he's lost that because he had to remake a few. There's only 3 left. Like, he's still producing Reapers, guys, because he has no choice.
Micro. And Time's microing his hurt Marines here. Dropping the Marines on the Reapers, you could actually win the fight as long as all the Reapers aren't here together. And Dragon knows that. That's why he's keeping this thing shepherd. He's, like, locked onto it. But I actually don't blame Dragon for tapping there, even though there wasn't a giant battle. There kind of was earlier, but tapping there makes a ton of sense. Time had basically won at that point. He had a natural. Dragon was just scrambling on one base, still making 3 Rax Reaper. And once you have 2 tanks out, those Reapers aren't doing jack.
Yeah. I gotta say, win or lose from here, I think I'm a Dragon fan. These have been really fun games. They've been really fast, but they've been really fun. He's definitely thrown a spanner in the works and already surpassed our expectations because unfortunately we've had to be pretty hard on him. Like, geez, guys, don't know if he'll be able to take a map, but maybe he'll surprise us. And he sure did. He absolutely did. He's got some tricks up his sleeve, this guy.
It was a really nice split on that winner mine, considering it's up on top of the ramp. He's hyper aware of it, so a good split, good reaction. And I mean, Time knew that he could throw away a lot of workers here and still be completely fine because Dragon is not going for the natural command center. With a boy pool like that, he wants to win the game. He's going for the throat. And I'm sure this works against a lot of ladder Terrans. I'm sure this works. Like, this is something that looks like it would really bamboozle and scare a lot of people and straight up win and surprise people. But there's 2 tanks out now for Time at this point in the game. You know, we're 5 minutes just over in, and there is no escape for these Reapers. And it's like, all right, well, these Reapers better kill like 15, 20 workers, and they kill 10% of that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah, those situations can be really hard to deal with because in a split second, especially if you've never seen it before, you suddenly have to figure out where the best place to engage is to sort of try and stand your ground there. How much is an acceptable loss as well? Because obviously he lost a lot of SCVs to hold that off, but so did Dragon. So to assess just how much you can commit to that to hold on and still come out on top is a skill in itself. So really well done to Time for a sick hold there. I think if I was Time, I would feel kind of good about that too, because that is a really wild build that he just had to defend against from Dragon. And, you know, it was sort of like a defense with whatever he's got. He was just doing his normal build, really. He knew something weird was going on, but, you know, for all intents and purposes, pretty normal TVT build. So if he can just play his normal style, try and be a little bit safe and still deflect something like that from Dragon, then there shouldn't be any real need to deviate here.
I completely agree, and what you just said is a really good point. You know, Time, while he did scout the earlier second depot being done, and he kind of had a feeling that he was being proxied or something, you know, sinister was happening for Dragon, he didn't really go for a crazy build order. He was still fast expanding. He's still getting a reactor on his barracks after making a single unit. Making 2 Reapers and a Hellion, then he's like, all right, I'm going to get a reactor now. And that's a very, very normal, regular, economic TVT opener. You throw out the winner mine just to help out because you're going to be behind in Reapers. And then you just go into Tech Lab, and it was all very normal, very ho-hum from Time. And he still held. It was just expert usage of the tools that he had.
Yeah, super cool. I do wonder if these guys ever hit each other on ladder or something. I mean, so. I just assume Time has like 8,000 MMR, but at the same time, you know, you ladder at the same time. Oh no, that's gonna be a pain. The time thing. You ladder in the same.
I'm trying to be good to you, Zeph. I'm trying to be good to you.
The same hours of the day, let's say, as your teammates that live in the same locations as you. So surely they meet. And perhaps that's not the first time you've seen that build. But we'll have to see how we go here on 2000 Atmospheres. It is game 3, folks. And in the bottom left from Kaizi Gaming, this is Time.
And in the main base here, teamless currently, but hopefully not for long. This is Dragon.
And quick update here from the B stream as we get started here. Firefly is currently leading over XY. That is also a Group A match. The winner of that will be playing the winner of this. So if you're just joining us, it is still early times. It's our first match of the night. A bit of a shorter broadcast for us though, as we are spreading China out throughout the whole week.
That's right. Yep. We're going to be spreading out China through the whole week. So instead of like going from Oceanic rest of Asia to Taiwan, like we have been for the broadcast last week, doing 2 regions in one evening, we're locking it down to 1 region. And that means we've got 3 best of 3s tonight. It's the whole broadcast for China, and then we're going straight into the European broadcast.
Another 3 best of 3s on the B stream at the same time to make sure that we're covering all of those matches. And yeah, that hopefully means we don't step on EU's toes at all as well. Sometimes we cut it a little close and they're just dying to get on.
Yeah, I mean, we never want to overstay the welcome of the stream and overlap with Europe. Unfortunately, we had that 1 hour PVZ between Rex and But Always, which kind of messed with us that one day, and you know, the interviews and that sort of thing. We actually don't have interviews for China, unfortunately. As much as I would like to talk to Time and actually meet XY and a few of the other guys we've not been able to actually talk to. Been blessed to actually spend a bit of time with Time in person. But this is cool from Dragon, by the way. Reactor first, so immediately into the reactor. It's a little risky if your opponent proxy Reapers you or something like that, but Time's playing very normal. So you're getting away with it.
Yeah, I mean, out of these 2, the guy that's more likely to proxy you or cheese you in some way is Dragon, so it's smart to just take a little bit more greed where you can, because your opponent's probably happy to sit back and let you be the aggressor because that's how you've sort of played it so far. But yeah, this is a pretty normal opening. Otherwise, we're seeing a bunch of Hellions, a bunch of Reapers come out here for Dragon.
Main thing I'm looking for is what's the first unit coming out of the medevac for Dragon. Because there is some builds with Reactor first where you get like a lot of Reapers out and then a medevac and you try and like bust the Terran. With a bunch of Reapers and medevacs and then expand behind it. Oh, schniggity. All right. L'agression here from Dragon.
You called it. I really love the aggressive style from Dragon. It's really worked out for him so far. I mean, last game was a bit rough, but definitely a cool idea. This CC just finishes as these forces arrive in the natural for Dragon. Time retreating to the high ground, throwing his grenades down. He's got a Cyclone out.
Now, Dragon should be rallying units here. Yes, he's sending more units across the map. Oh, Time's got his units in a good position to pick off some more of Dragon's units. Getting rid of the... Oh, the Cyclone going down is massive because he still has that medevac. Don't forget. That means he can't really take down the medevac unless the Marines can get on top of it. There's not a lot of units left for Dragon, but the plan normally is to get the medevac loaded up with the Hellions, so the Reapers can jump up and the Hellions sort of, you know, get to the main and bust this entire position. You can still load things into the main, but killing the depot is even better.
Tank out here in just a second, and that'll help a little bit on the defense. He does siege that up, and that gives him a bit of a safety zone here, because even with a medevac, you can't exactly get too close here. So he's going to settle for dealing with the reactor there. Really nicely done, getting whatever he can done with that small force of units in the medevac. But with tank repositioning, he does manage to flush him out of there.
And he just slows down the natural of Time ever so slightly. Keep in mind that, of Dragon rather. So keep in mind that Time has had this natural for a little bit quicker because he's gone for the faster expand build. Dragon went for a little bit more of a committed 1 base attack. Oh, Time even dropping a 3rd CC. Time feeling very confident about his position.
Yeah, fair enough. He's got a couple of tanks out now. He shouldn't be too afraid of anything from Dragon, who is still continuing the aggression.
Oh, he's making more medevacs. He's just going to be dropping time non-stop in this game. Dragon doesn't seem to have any intention of playing a macro game here.
I kind of like that idea too, because it's time, guys. You don't want to face time in a macro game. Maybe this is the way to make him bleed. He does siege up behind the mineral line. SCV's getting pulled as well to help buffer for this attack.
Oh, he's sieging, unsieging. Ah, the siege, unsiege there. I mean, he is killing a ton of SCVs, that's for sure. This was a lot of damage for Dragon on the economy of time, and may kind of reset the board a little bit as far as that's concerned because of how much later his command center is. But time is going 3cc, and he's still alive. Like, this is one of those if you come at the king, you best not miss kind of situations, because he's wounded time, but a wounded time is still better than most players.
Yeah, he's a wounded 3cc time as well, so he'll catch up pretty fast. And yeah, he killed some stuff there, but it's not like time is defenseless after that. He has his own tanks still got 2 ravens in the air as well, which are going to be really key because Dragon doesn't have that luxury. So if he wants to come in here and start sieging up, so kind of an easy target for those ravens to be like, okay, well, take those out of the fight real quick.
Oh, Dragon kind of gave away what he was doing there with that medevac. Time's Ravens now on the hunt. Scan from Dragon. This tank is very, very hard for a break. See, if you're cutting Ravens and Vikings here, you just can't stop. Like, Time has a very small air army, but it's just... It's slightly stronger than a medevac's F to have units.
Just
like,
slightly.
You know, the Vikings and the Ravens are slightly stronger than medevac.
If they fought, I think the Viking wins.
It'll be close, but yeah, the Viking will edge out the medevac in a 1v1.
Yo, be careful with those ravens, though. Oh, that was almost really sick for Dragon.
Scan from Time, sees that Dragon is going to try and macro out of this. You got to make up for being behind in an economy, rather 3rd CC timings. Like, he's not really that far behind in an economy at all. In fact, he's got a little bit of a lead, especially when he saturates everything. The Dragon getting a 3rd CC on location, I think, is the right call. There's not a whole lot that Time can do about it, except for Raven harass at the moment. A push from Time would be very risky.
He's happy to sit back and defend, take this slow and steady. He's going to send the ravens around, though, and they can drop some turrets, maybe get him some kills there on their little visit to Dragon's base. And Dragon, once again, has backed right up out of this position. Time sends out a couple of scouting units just to see if he's parked out here anywhere, but this may be the time to actually think about taking that 3rd himself.
Well, some fresh mules here if the Ravens wanted to go for it. He could even split the Raven up between the 3rd and the natural and try and spread that auto turret love. Or span them all into one mineral line like I would.
Oh, man,
loses a Raven.
Yeah, that's dead. Oh, maybe not. Just gonna turn around. Cool. Well, gets 3 worker kills, but loses one of the Ravens, which is a bit suboptimal. But Time has seen pretty much everything that Dragon has at this point. He sees that there's 3 bases mining now. And he just gets confirmation that the follow-up for Dragon was to go into those upgrades. If he didn't already see it with the scan, I'm pretty sure he did. So it looks like he's ready to put some pressure on himself.
Time is actually feeling a little bit of pressure here. Needing to do more damage to Dragon. He's lost his Ravens. Still has this one at home, though, which is one more Dragon than Raven has. He is getting some serious SCV damage done with the Liberator. That was a really good bit of SCV damage.
Wow.
Now Time
really
is ahead on workers. I think so. Unless Insano missed another one. I think it was just the one. Siege a little bit early for Dragon. He gets the scan off as well. Gonna take some shots off.
Gonna try and kite back against these Vikings a little bit. The Raven goes down there as well, and air superiority remains firmly in Dragon's grip.
Yeah, Dragon doing a great job zoning back Time here. Even with the Raven disadvantage that Dragon had just there. Just having the ball of Vikings to win that air battle and just force Time back. Really good plays there. And it doesn't seem like he's got a scan to go up that high ground. Time does, though. Confirms Dragon's retreat. Lots of medevacs here for Dragon as well. And as Time, you got to always be wary of the fact that he could doom drop at any point. And God, I'm like an Oracle seer. And he scans it. Oh, Dragon. Feels bad, man.
The timing. Pretty sick. Yeah, he's got to unload there. There's no way you risk that after being seen. And he wants to hit this timing right now, right? Because his 1-1 just finished. He sees his window. He wants to get in there. He knows that Time is not able to confidently take the fight here. He actually has to do a bit of setup. So unfortunately, he does still have to sort of walk it over to Time Space and figure out where he wants to siege. And by the time he does that, Time is also going to have his own 1-1 in play.
Time has noticed that the medevacs are all over here with the army, so there has been an unload. His units have already been repositioned to lock down the natural. He's trying to get a 4th CC. Now, this location is very tough to attack into for Dragon, but again, the Viking advantage is pretty massive. And he is in range of the refineries here. He's not in range of much else. Oh, actually not in range of the refineries. Thought he was just in range. To see that ring of the tank? Insane's got selected.
I think like he thought he was too, judging by that ring.
Dragon's currently Alt-Tab sending a message to the map designers.
Yep.
Fix your map!
Submitting a support
I lost the
ticket.
time because of your map!
Ooh. And Time gonna circumvent this little spot here a little bit, running straight across the map to see what he can stim down over the other side of the map, and Dragon isn't even watching there. Not much you can do about it, even if he is, because Time has overwhelming forces here. He's going deep on this base.
Yeah, and this is a serious counterattack from Time. Killing the tank, killing the army, and the natural command center gets picked off as well. Huge blow! And Dragon's coming back with his army. He can't counterattack Time at the moment. Oh man, this is potentially game-winning.
Oh, he's going for another one. I think he's going to get it too. Oh, the last second repair is too late. 2 CCs go down for Time. He loses everything here, but he did a lot of damage there. Dragon took too long to get set up on his side of the map.
Yeah. Well, now Dragon's kind of damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. If he stays back, he's going to get further and further behind. And if he counterattacks, I don't see an angle. Like, how do you counterattack someone as good as Time and actually break them and do some serious damage to them? It seems very, very hard.
Yeah, that is the question, and he's just going to go for it. Not many other options, as you mentioned there. Time has secured a 4th base throughout this. His 2-2 is getting very close to finishing, as well as the vehicle weapons, and he still has a very strong army supply. So this is going to be a tough ask for Dragon from this position to find a way back into it. He's also secured himself a 4th base, but even with the sensor turrets kind of like covering everything important on this map, there's not a lot of movement either player can make that the other one isn't going to know about very quickly.
All right, Dragon's going to attempt the Doom Drop again. Time already has a ball of Vikings waiting at the edge of that sensor tower, though.
Oh, don't
I
say
don't know,
that.
man. I mean, I actually don't blame Dragon for this play. Like, he's got to do something. He's got to do something.
Oh, this could be so painful, though.
He's going to boost outside. Yeah, this is exactly what the Vikings are waiting for.
No.
Oh, Dragon. Feels
Oh,
bad.
Dragon. Oh. Okay, only 1 medevac. That could have gotten a lot worse for him,
And
but...
yeah, it was also the one with Marines in it, which I feels like, you know, you lose the medevacs with the tanks in it, you're feeling like extra bad.
Yeah.
1 tank got lost on the way home.
Okay, Time has decided to sort of go around the map once again. And he might actually have an opportunity to jump on a small part of the force because it's sort of still joining up, but he's actually not going to risk it. Going to bring everything of his together, get a good siege position here, knowing that Dragon's trying to siege up close to the more juicy bits of time space.
And as Terrans tend to do in TVT when they're behind and have a lot of medevacs, Dragon once again loads up the medevacs to YOLO. He's going for the 3rd. Oh, Time actually out of position for this.
Ooh, but is it going to matter?
Stuff set.
This is a lot of stuff. Huge sim in from Time, and he just mows that down.
Time just eviscerates the army of Dragon. A valiant effort, and there were definitely some glimmers of hope there for Dragon in that game. I like the